Welcome to this special bonus episode of Talk Commerce. On April 8, 2022, Magento organized and hosted an unconference in Orlando, Florida. I had the pleasure of interviewing each of the sponsors at the event. I would encourage you to visit and learn more about what each does. I'm also happy to announce the Talk Commerce newsletter called Platforms. I'll be covering news from the major commerce platforms as well as technologies that are related to e-commerce. I will also have an Entrepreneur's Corner to share some experiences that other entrepreneurs are going through. I would encourage you to sign up today at talkcommerce.com. The first issue comes out on June 1st. Over the next 9 weeks, you'll enjoy interviews from SwiftOtter, SalesLater, Image Engine, Clayvu, WebScale, Nexus, Adobe, JetRails, and Celigo. Each of these sponsors showed up to the event and participated in the unconference. And now, Talk Commerce, live from Unconference, Florida. Welcome to this episode of Talk Commerce. I have Ray Bogman from Adobe. Ray, go ahead, introduce yourself, tell us what you do day to day, and one of your passions about Adobe.
Passions of Adobe? Wow.
No, passions about Magento.
Oh, passions about Magento. Where do we start? 14 years already. So for those who are, I'm Ray Bogman, based out of Amsterdam, the Netherlands. Currently a senior global software support manager for custom engineering within Adobe. And one of my passions in life is of course Magento, and now Adobe Commerce. And been doing this now for over 14 years.
That's great. And we're at the Unconference in Orlando, and this was the first introduction to the concept in the US, but it's somewhat common for Europeans.
Yeah, I think we grew up with it, it's just the nature, but it's pretty new over here in Orlando. I'm really pleased and grateful for you guys setting up this event. It's a big thing, but I really like the event and also the format, on sharing, and I think that's the most important. It's sometimes a little bit unstructured, of course, because there's no official agenda, but I think maybe that's the best thing of the whole event, since everybody's free to share whatever thing they would like to talk to, we all vote on it, and you just go on stage. You don't need any slides. If you're prepared, that's fine, but it doesn't mean getting over there.
Yeah, and so I think you had mentioned earlier that people are more talkative in these events because they feel like there's more of a space for you to talk.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Looking at an event like this, it's definitely in this group sense, I guess, sharing and asking can help everybody to be participating. Normally there's just one speaker up there, you have 100, maybe 200 people watching a session, and then there's through the Q&A at the end. But at some point, I guess everybody's a little bit scared to start asking questions, and definitely with this format, everybody's equal. You're not a speaker officially, everybody can be a speaker, but everybody can be participating as well. So that's something that I really like about this format.
Yeah, and I think one thing that was encouraging is that seemed to be less stress to make sure you're on track for your agenda, and people were talking even at the breaks. Sometimes we had to we had a lot of breaks today.
We had a lot of breaks, but I guess those breaks really had given us the opportunity for diving a little bit deeper on some of the topics. I know we had discussions on what could be done, and I think the whole room was participating, at some point, and that was really well. But looking at those breaks, people start mingling and starting more questions, so that got really things going.
Yeah, and I think because there wasn't that stress of getting to the next topic and people weren't concerned about when is the next topic going to start, it seemed to lend a little bit of relaxation to the event.
Oh, that was definitely sure, but also having now the time to spend, I would say, quality time on the people around. I had finally some time to speak to some partners over here that sponsored this event, which is really grateful. cover this kind of stuff. Normally it's pretty hard. You've got an agenda and you walk from one room to another room. Right now it's pretty focused. So it's unclear, of course, who's going to speak, but looking at every topic, everybody's thrilled and happy to start sharing. So everybody's equal.
So some of your topics are around Adobe Commerce and some of the things happening. Tell us a little bit about the thinning down of Adobe Commerce and how that's going to improve the performance and all the other things. You had a great presentation, and I'm excited. We don't have time to go through the whole thing right now. What are the highlights? What do you see in the highlights out of that?
To drill it down, I shared some sessions, and it was kind of summary, and to get also the momentum going, asking everybody, what's the definition on composable commerce? How do we, look at that? Is it just a marketing term? How do we use it? Everybody's familiar with APIs, headless, cloud, and maybe something new that's microservices. And while asking everybody in the room, okay guys, how do we do this? What does it actually mean? What's known and it's been used now for several years, and is it all about marketing, or how do we actually add value to a product, to a project, and also the merchant using it?
Yeah, one thing that I saw very interesting about your presentation is that somebody could have a version of Magento or Adobe Commerce, and you could treat it headlessly just as you'd treat another SaaS version of it. You could never touch the code theoretically and run it the exact same way. It would still be a PaaS. You'd still have all the control over it that you'd want, but you could run it the same way as you would another service. And I'm very intrigued by the application store, the application developer system that you were talking, I think it was App Builder, what was it?
App Builder, yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. I think that some of the concepts about serverless applications, it's going to revolutionize
It will definitely. I think we are getting there. It's available now, and it will help developers to speed up development, get something up and running much easier, but also interconnect with not only additional services out there, but also the internal network. Pulling all the data together and getting that data to where it belongs. If it's a headless, or in this case a serverless infrastructure, if it's going to be an IoT or whatever channel that needs to be serving, the business needs. And I guess that power finally comes to light.
Yeah, that's super. Ray, it's been so great to see you in person after all this time.
Been too long, man.
It has been too long. Yeah, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you make the long journey across the pond to come to lonely old Florida and see us, and it was such a great event and great to see you.
Thanks, Brent. Thanks for organizing it, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you again for listening. My name is Brent Peterson, and it has been a pleasure to be your host today. Please sign up for our newsletter platforms at talk-commerce.com. Rate and subscribe to Talk Commerce wherever you download your podcasts. New shows out every week.